Am I the asshole? For essentially telling my father my house my rules. My elderly father lives with me and my husband. He does not like animals indoors. No allergies, just does not like them. My grown daughter lives 3.5 hours away and has a small lap dog. She plans to visit for 4 days over the Thanksgiving holiday and will be bringing her dog. I don't have a problem with this. My father said that Thanksgiving dinner will be ruined by having a disgusting dog in the home and asked that we keep the dog in the garage or outside at all times. We live in a rural area and the wooden fence around our yard would not contain the small dog. Alternatively, he has demanded that our daughter board her dog. I have spoken to her about this and she is not comfortable with the boarding or keeping the dog in the cold garage. I sat down with my father and said that this is my house and it is important to me that my daughter feels she is always welcome here so he can suck it up for a few days. He accused me of not respecting his feelings and boundaries. My husband says we should not force my father to deal with the dog indoors since this is essentially his home too. Am I the asshole? Edit. My suggestion is to get a baby gate. The dog would not be allowed in the kitchen or dining room at all and would be shut in daughter's room during meals. The dog is well groomed and will be freshly groomed bathed before they visit. The dog gets excited with people and does like to jump at them for attention, however my daughter is good about keeping her on a leash if she's overly excited. My father's compromise is to keep the dog in the garage with a space heater and dog bed. Not the asshole. If he has an issue, he can go stay at a hotel during her visit. You can also consider getting a baby gate or pen that can contain the dog to a certain room. Maybe not the worst compromise. Not the asshole. Please tell me there was a moment when you were growing up where he said my house my rules to you. Not the asshole. Would your daughter agree to keep her dog in her room during meals? And if so, you can ask your dad to be in charge of cleaning and setting the table before meals, so he can disinfect surfaces as he feels so led. I waited 23 years for the chance to tell my father, my house, my rules. It was even better than I imagined it would be. Stand your ground, op. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Maybe you could keep him in the garage for a few days. Not the asshole. Have you considered keeping your father in the garage? Not the asshole, and thank you for sticking up for your grown daughter and her dog. I would say you're right, Dad. I heard what you have to say and decided what's best for my family. I disagree with what you said and I'm thinking of my daughter's needs. I would maybe have the dog go to a groomer before coming over and pet gate, but no garage. That's just cruel to an animal that is not used to the environment. He's welcome to find some other place to live where there will never be any animals. His opinion can be noted and discarded while he lives under your roof. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. He doesn't get to demand anything in your house. Not the asshole unless he pays the mortgage. Not the asshole. It is your home. You are letting him live there. If he doesn't like your rules, he can go live in assisted living place. Or he can suck it up for 4 whole days. Happy holidays. Not the asshole. He's not respecting you. But I would make sure he can't get near the dog. Slipping it the wrong thing at dinner, leaving a door open could all lead to something sad and horrible. Not the asshole, and your father doesn't understand the word boundary. A boundary is what he will do. Not an order or a demand. If X then Y is how a boundary works. If dog is here I'm not is a boundary. Don't bring dog is a demand. Frankly, if he's going to try and manipulate you by misusing that phrase to guilt trip you, I'd suggest he live elsewhere. Not the asshole. Your house, your rules. If your father doesn't like it, he can leave for a few days. Not the asshole. My mother threw a fit when I told her to get her shoes off my couch. No fucking way do parents never have to follow anyone else's rules simply because they're fucking parents. Not the asshole. Nata. It's not his home. He's essentially a guest. If he doesn't like how things are run, he can move out. Not the asshole. It is, in fact, your house, so yes, you make the rules. Not the asshole. If he has such an issue with the dog, he can go in the garage, or to a hotel for the duration. Not the asshole. He needs to compromise on this issue. If it's not an issue for you, then it's not an issue. He can stay in the garage or outside if he chooses. Not the asshole. You said it yourself, my house, my rules. Boom. Can you kennel or board your dad? Maybe at least a muzzle? Personally, I am terrified by every animal, whether that be a tiny kitten or a giant dog or even a bird. But I would never make somebody alter any of their plans or any aspect of their lives because of a me problem. Even if it's my son or sibling or whomever close person they might be. I would feel terrible if I hindered anybody's plans for my own comfort. Not the asshole. Is he possibly afraid of the dog? Otherwise, a kind compromise is that she crates the dog during meals and keeps it with her leash around the house. You don't want him tripping or the dog to get hurt. He is acting entitled, and a kind but firm statement asserting your rights and position may be necessary. Not the asshole. Excuse me? You get to make rules and boundaries in your own house, not the home where your adult child is graciously housing you. If he doesn't like it, there are retirement communities all over the country. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Board grandpa or keep him in the garage. Problem solved. Info: whose house is it? Does your dad pay the bills? If it's your house and hubby's, you are doing your dad a kindness and he should respect your rules. Tell him if he's not happy, you will help him look at senior living facilities. Does he contribute to the household? Rent, groceries, utilities? Is he on the lease deed? I totally get not wanting the dog at the table or in the kitchen. That would be annoying if he isn't a dog person. But I see no reason why your daughter couldn't keep the dog in her own room while she's there. Your father does not get to be a demanding jerk in your home. He lives there too, but it's your home, and your daughter. If he doesn't like it, maybe you can board him for a few days, smiley face. Not the asshole. Is he not able to live on his own? If not, he's lucky his own kid took him in and didn't put him in a home. He's not running things. A reasonable compromise would be to set off a few rooms for the dog to be allowed into and for everything else to remain dog-free. Another reasonable compromise, if your father feels that strongly about it, would be for him to stay somewhere else for the holiday. Not the asshole. As you said, he lives in your house. First tell him, look, if you're living under my roof, you're living under my rules. Then get upset if he leaves the door open and tell him I'm not trying to air condition the whole neighborhood. Oh, how the turntables. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Sounds like a wonderful grandpa. No wonder she moved 3.5 hours away. Not the asshole. Is there a way to keep the dog out of kitchen and dining room? Or something that is a compromise? I live with a dog in the house. On my couch. But I try not to gross out people that are sensitive with her around food. Info: does he pay anything to help maintain the house? If so, it is his house too. But I too also would love to relish saying those words to him, as he said it to you growing up. Not to be too cruel. But what kind of pampered wimp can't survive in a house for a few days with a lapdog around? I'd be incredibly annoyed that this was even an issue. It's such a stupid thing to even spend more than 30 seconds talking about or worrying about, yet this baby is making a problem out of nothing. You don't want a dog around, but I don't want a baby around, so maybe it should be you that leaves for a few days. Grow up. Not the asshole. He accused me of not respecting his feelings and boundaries. Hating dogs more than you love your granddaughter is not a boundary, it's just a quite despicable feeling.